It's been a minute. It's been a minute. And if you're wondering, where the heck is everybody? It's been a hectic summer. Most importantly, we've been recording our EP, and it's a genre that is outside of our regularly scheduled programming. So it is country, but it's not country as in, I dug my key into the side of his pretty little, but it's more like Dolly Parton meets John Prine kind of vibe. I think you'll enjoy it. Another thing is that I moved into my very own art studio where I can take chances, make mistakes, and get messy, as our Lord and Savior Miss Frizzle has once said. We've been slowly but surely adding new members into the band, which is amazing. And I started a new job where I am just immersed in art and amazing and interesting people. And then lastly, if you remember at one point I said,
I've always felt like I need to have a lifestyle where I'm not working one job all day, 5 days a week.
Well, I had this itch that's been scratching me from the inside out, kind of just peeling off every layer of my skin for a few years now, and I decided to do yoga teacher training. And I was both so ready and also so not ready at the same time.
Oh my God, what have I done? Fuck. I could have been living my life thinking that I resolved my trauma, and then I get to yoga teacher training, and it appears that I have a lot more work to do. Oh no.
It was profound, it was enlightening, not to be confused with enlightenment, but it was enlightening, okay? But it was one of those pinnacle moments in my life where I kind of had to go, so metaphorically, I had to go into the basement, and instead of like running up because I'm scared, I had to just kind of stay there in the darkness and, turn the light on a few times, maybe stay there in the dark a few times, and the monsters were like, "What's up?" And I had to be like, "Huh! I am fine. Can I trust you?" And the monster's like, "Yes." Turns out it's Sully, Okay, that was so stupid. So yeah, with that being said, I've been doing a lot of yoga, and I've come to discover that yoga isn't just doing yoga, but it's also being. And that's a lifelong journey, baby. So let's take a step back, okay? How did I get here? How did I become to be this artiste practicing yoga and teaching yoga? And how did I just how did I just flip my world upside down? It's very interesting because I've been getting a few messages online of people being like, "Oh my God, your life. I'm so happy for you. I'm so sad, and you make me want to change everything." And I just thought that maybe I could kind of go a little bit more into that because, oh my God, there were just so many videos that I watched of how do I escape the 9 to 5? What do I do? What do I do? Because it's so reliable and it's there for me. It's just what you do. It's just what we were told to do when we graduated high school, was go to college or university and get a fucking job in a cubicle and then die. Sorry. So just so you know, the transition period for me is right now. I'm still going through trying to find stable income, which it's not going to be stable anymore. And I don't have money. Back in the day when I had fucking, insurance fucking benefits, okay, I was going to high tea tickets for that. It was $100 each. Bitch, we're not doing that now. I was supposed to do a transition here. So let's go to the next scene. Next scene, Welcome to the second portion of this video titled Tiffany's Book Report of the books that helped to bring her here. But Tiffany's comprehension is not great, so the reports won't be that great. I don't know about you, but I'm cozy here, okay? I hope that you are going to do the same. Get cozy. I have a tea here, and I have my books over here, and I have my catfish, okay? My pusheen. Get cozy, get a drink, and let's just have a cozy style book report. Just because I read these books doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, my life is totally in order. These were just kind of tools that I picked up along the way. So let's go. The first book is The Alchemist, and I read this right before I was on attempt number 1 of changing my life. And we were on our way to Melbourne, Australia. If you don't know this whole story, we have videos on that. You can go watch them. I'm not going to get into it now. And at this moment in my life, I was like in the thick of my therapy journey. And I was actually it's valid that I was really afraid of going on this trip. You know, it was going to be this huge pinnacle moment in my life where where we spent a year in Melbourne, Australia, and attempt to change our lives. And this was my first kind of spiritual fiction book, and I actually wasn't ready for it to get that spiritual, especially at that time. You know, I was like, I have no beliefs after like years of being in a Christian background. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. It didn't speak to me. So I go from no beliefs to then an author being like, you know, when you want something, all of the universe conspires into giving it to you and stuff, which made me realize that in order to believe in myself, for me, in order to believe in myself, I need to believe in something bigger than myself. Okay? I'm not saying this figure in the sky or anything. I'm just saying, okay, if the universe is gonna have my back, then maybe I should allow it. Maybe I should show my back then. Maybe I should just show my backside. And it was at this point that I started to consider, okay, not fully, but just I started to consider believing in the universe, the artist's way. Y'all know that I love this book. You know, at this time was hearing a lot of whispers about like The Artist's Way and Julia Cameron and Morning Pages, and I was like, I'm intrigued. Sign me up. And I've started to implement again these things called the artist's date, which the author describes as just taking 2 hours out of your week to just do something that feeds your inner artist, your inner child. And I completely forgot about this. And I kept wondering why I'm so agitated all the time. And it's because I'm not taking the time out of my week to do what I want to do. Whether that's drawing, but going to a life drawing class. I'm not even good at like sketching like that. But the only way I'm going to get better is by trying and going. And I do find journaling extremely helpful to just kind of word vomit, brain dump, whatever you need to. You know, I feel like people might have this thought that journaling is this like aesthetically pleasing, grammatically correct, lovely writing thing when it's the complete opposite. But yeah, journaling like this has helped me to kind of see things through and iron out all of the wrinkles, not only in life events, but also just like planning events, you know, just how I need to figure out how I'm gonna do something like this so that we can do something like that. How am I gonna, okay, I have this idea, and then you kind of go into that more. The next book on our list is How to Find Fulfilling Work. I read this after I read The Artist's Way because I had the tools, but now I needed to figure out what my next steps were. How do I actually apply this into like what I want to do. Does that make sense? So this book inspired me to quit my accounting job at the time, and my plan was to slowly kind of move my way through like cubicles and offices that over time would like align with my values. This is my scheme, okay? It didn't work. It helped me to understand that finding the perfect job is like maybe not focus so much on that, right? And focus more on like, what are my strengths and how can I apply my strengths into something that I care about, into something that I enjoy doing, where I can still kind of make income. Even if it's not making income, just like finding, okay, leave that in. And when I say that in a sentence, it probably sounds pretty straightforward, but I'm still in that phase. And it's not necessarily that I need to find this thing, but rather it's something that I grow and then I grow into. That's actually like a quote from the book. Make your art no matter what. This is a book I've definitely talked about on this channel before, but I don't think I've actually went into it. I'm at my next office job and I decide to take myself out on an artist date to see an exhibit. I just found it online. I was like, that sounds cool. Let's go. It was amazing. And then at the end of my trip, I went into the gift shop to kind of seal the deal. It's what I always do. It's necessary. And I obviously wanted to buy everything there, but I saw this book and I was like, you're speaking to me, honey. You want to come home with me? Let's go. This book really helps me to realize how important it is to have friends that are artists. There are real, actual, living people out there who are living the life that works for them and that also might work for you. Last point, full disclosure, back in 2022 when I did that video of the books I read in 2022, I skipped a chapter. I skipped the last chapter titled God and Death. And to be quite honest with you, I skipped it because I just wasn't ready for it at that time. I was just in a place where I was like, if I die here, like, I won't be happy. That doesn't make any sense because I'll be dead. I think you know what I'm trying to say, but just, it's that. And then I did yoga teacher training, and that changed a lot for me, especially with my relationship with death. And I actually ended up reading this chapter as I was like writing, you know, the points of what I want to say for this video. Like I just stopped everything and I was like, I need to finish this book. And I'm so happy that I did because it completely changed my opinions on this book. For example, it made me reflect on how I actually used art to help me get through difficult periods in my life, such as a loved one dying. For this next book, I actually don't have a physical copy of it because I read it as an ebook, and it's called I Don't Know What I Want, but I Know It's Not This, which is an amazing title. I don't even know how I found this. Like, I think I was just on the bus and I was like, books on how to not be in a cubicle anymore or something. I read this book while I was at my last job, and I don't suggest doing this, but full disclosure, I did, you know, during work hours, sneak some reading in and like write down all of the answers to all of the assignments. For example, there's one where you write down like a list of your values, and making this list gave me a lot of insight into what it is I'm looking for exactly in work. But I think there was one where I checked community or like making a difference or something, and I was like, shit, this job is not doing that. I'm not making a difference. I'm chasing people down for money every day. And then the last book is The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. I listened to the Design Matters podcast and Rick Rubin was on it, and I was absolutely mesmerized. I was like, who the hell is this? I was so intrigued and enamored. Is that the right word? I was interested. I was like, This is a great interview, and I'm gonna buy this book immediately. In that interview, Rick Rubin says that, this book is to be used as a tool. It's basically like, I don't know if the right word he used was dictionary, but basically to be used as like a dictionary of like, if you are having issues in your practice and you kind of go to this book and you find, okay, I'm looking for cooperation or something. You'll find it, you go to that, and then you got your answers and you're ready to go. I read it front to back. So as I was reading it, I was circling things like success, collaboration. And it just has other great advice for like life and just finding a practice that works. And that is all for me, my friend. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. And also, huge thank you to our patrons for just being the coolest and raddest. I can't wait to keep making videos for you. We got so much content coming for you. We have music videos and behind the scenes stuff. So please make sure that you stick around, and I'll see you next time.